Hey guys, welcome in. It is Brad with College SportsCast. We got Hall of Fame class announced today. We got the college football championship game to talk about. This is the big fuss.
Can I please have your attention? There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
Hey guys, welcome in. Brad with College SportsCast. I've got John Hammonds here with me. We are here to do College SportsCast, the Big Fuss Show. We are part of Stadium Rant now, so that was up on the promo for the show there for you guys. And John, before we kick it off, let's talk a little bit about Facebook. If you're on Facebook with us, you can help support us by sending stars, or you could subscribe to our page. If you're a subscriber, there is a subscribers chat that I am starting and getting going. I'm putting stuff in there daily. You also have your own subscribers page. It's only 99 cents a month, and we appreciate you. It does help us to continue to make more content for you guys. That is on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, we appreciate you as well, and we are trying to get our YouTube up to where we can do things with it as well. So, all right. John, you ready for the big fuss?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't done a solo big fuss for a little while.
No, it's been a while.
We had the holidays, and we've combined a show or two because of the football playoffs and stuff like that. So we haven't really done one. But speaking of football playoffs, that's what we're going to get started on. John, let's talk a little bit about the national championship game and a preview for it. I want to start out this by saying about an hour ago, I did have a national championship preview article that was put out by Stadium Rant or on Stadium Rant. Go check it out. It's got great insights, I feel like. I've been told by a few people already that it was a great preview and a great article, and it was nicely done. So check that out. Ohio State versus Notre Dame, of course, and kind of breaking down the game, give you some analysis, key matchups, things like that in the article. So go check it out at stadiumrant.com. All right, John. So here on the show, national championship game is Monday night, the 20th. Are you excited? It's really the first 12, team playoff championship game. Got it down to Ohio State and Notre Dame.
I mean, you can't get any more excited than what, we've seen the last couple of weeks. You had the Notre Dame Georgia game that was really tight. Then they had the
Notre Dame, Penn State come down to the wire.
Penn State come down the wire. The only team that's really done any significance is Ohio State. They steamrolled Tennessee. They steamrolled Oregon. I felt like that even in the Texas game, I felt like they was pretty in control. Now Texas had a chance to tie the game late in the fourth quarter, but
I saw that,
they had a big play. They had a big play by Jack. What's his last name? Jack Sawyer.
The scoop and score. That's what
the sealed the score. And you look on the other side, you got a team like Notre Dame. They rely on a lot of rushing, elite defense. I think they've averaged 155 yards on the ground in those wins against Georgia and Penn State. I think here's one quick key I think that needs to happen going forward is Ohio State needs to make Riley Leonard one-dimensional. His strength is the way he runs. Whether it's a scramble, design run, he can do things with his legs.
He did find Greathouse a couple of times with some really good passes. against Penn State.
And you look at Ohio State on the other side, they got a really good defense. They got Jack Sawyer's leading that group over there. They got pressure on Quinn Ewers all night long.
Caleb Downs. They got their star studded, that's for sure.
Yeah, they had 4 sacks. They made him very uncomfortable in the pocket, which really made him force throws a lot of times. I think if Ohio State can contain Leonard, I think they can win the national championship.
Yeah, let's talk just for a second the end of the Texas Ohio State game. John, those last 2 play calls, I know everybody's, falling in love with Sark and stuff, but man, those last 2 play calls that cost them the game. They had an outside pitch on a 2nd and 1 from the 1 at 2nd and goal from the 1.
Yeah,
and they threw an outside pitch and lost like 7 yards on it to the left. It was just a terrible.
There was some brain farts in that last drive that Texas had, and I'm not going to speak, badly of Quinn Ewers. There was some times in the season where a lot of people called for I start to say Archie Manning. Archie Manning. I'm thinking of his grandfather. Is who I'm thinking about.
Well, Archie Manning, the grandfather. Yeah,
grandfather. That's who I'm saying. There was times during the year where Arch, there was games where I felt like he was the better quarterback, but you can't roll away from your senior, the guy that has been there with you through last year, this year.
Check out my article, Stadium Rant. It's pretty good, I feel like.
A lot of people were calling for Arch all season long at times when especially when Ewers would struggle. But if it wasn't for Texas's defense.
What's up, Dave? Clyde, Johnny, glad you guys are here.
I really feel like that this would have been a lot bigger score than we had. Texas defense played a really big role in this playoff.
I don't think Notre Dame's defense gets enough credit for what they've done. Like, they have a really strong defense as well, and they play a little different than most people do. They like to play out on an island with their cornerbacks, and they pressure and play and do a really good job with that. Now, with that said, Ohio State has some tremendous wide receivers. And Notre Dame is known for playing single, with their cornerbacks and stuff. Is that going to work against Jeremiah Smith and Omeka? And
here's where I think you're going to have to win. You're going to have to put Ohio State in a rock fight. Look what Michigan did. Forced the Buckeyes to play, I guess you would say, between the hash marks. You use the play clock. Use Riley Leonard on design runs. Work some slants, I think, some underneath stuff. Not, that's asking a lot.
Dave's got a good one here. Follow Michigan's game plan.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
run
exactly
6 or 7 offensive linemen. Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm saying. You gotta slow the game down. You can't kind of rush it and get into a back and forth Ohio State score, because you're not going to win a game like that with Ohio State.
Marcus Freeman has done a really good job, Clyde. And I don't think anybody can say any different.
And I want to say something else, Brad, while we're here. I'm really interested to see how, like you said, Notre Dame's secondary goes up against Ohio State.
I think that's going to be an absolute key here.
and I say that because, Notre Dame has what? The number one, I think, pass efficiency in the FBS. I think Texas was number 2, I believe. So can you limit the Buckeyes' vertical game?
Yep. That's going to be the absolute key.
I mean, will that be effective against, Jeremiah
because
Smith?
If you can do that by singles on the outside, that gives you more people to put in against Travion Henderson and Quinshawn Judkins and stuff on the inside, and you can load up the box a little bit more on the inside if you can shut them down on the outside, like that, without having to zone and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, the line of scrimmage is basically where this game's going to be won at, I think. Notre Dame at times is undersized. They had a few guys out injured. They're really low on the offensive line. But I'm going to tell you, Brad, they kept their own against Georgia and Penn State, and they created a lot of havoc. Ohio State, they did the same against Tennessee and Oregon, but they had a lot of issues with Texas up front. So I expect Notre Dame to be what Texas was when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. I don't think you're going to be able to play man on Jeremiah Smith and Amika. You're going to have to at least double one of them.
It's going to be tough, man.
Because you're going to have to put coverage towards Smith, and then you're going to have to take your chances on the other side, because if you don't, you got to pick your poison. And who do you pick your poison with, Jeremiah Smith or the other receivers? And I would take my chances with, covering Smith, doubling him.
He played pretty good against Texas the other day.
And hoping that, you can just limit him, It's sort of like a basketball reference. You let that one guy take all the shots. You try to limit him, but you let everybody else beat you.
You're probably talking about Travion Henderson, Clyde, but Quinshawn Judkins is pretty darn tough too. I mean, they got 2 of them that's elite.
Yeah, because if you don't, Dave, you're just setting yourself up for failure, because Jeremiah Smith is probably one of the best. I would say he is the best wide receiver in college football. What he can do with his feet, the way he catches the ball, the way he can break speed. He's just a different animal when he's on that football field, and Notre Dame's going to have their hands full with him.
Well, we're not going to pick this game just yet. This is the big fuss. We're just kind of talking about it, giving a little bit of preview. We'll do that on Friday night and pick this and do our game day pick'ems. But if you do check out my Stadium Rant article, I do have a prediction in that article. So
I'm going to say, Brad, I'm going to go a little step further before we move on. I think Great House is going to have a big game. For Notre Dame.
He is going to have a big game. And Great House has the talent, I think. Like, he showed out a couple of 2 or 3 times against Texas, and him and Riley are going to have to hook up some.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some plays, and he's a playmaker. He's dangerous down the field, vertical. He's going to have to make some plays, and I even said, with Riley Leonard, you're going to have to, maybe make some design runs, but that's going to be hard to do on Ohio State front four.
We ain't even mentioned him here, but Notre Dame's got a good running back as well.
Jeremiah Love, yeah.
Jeremiah Love is a pretty good running back.
That's if he plays. I'm not sure. They said he was he's still nursing the injury, but I'm not sure. He might play Monday. I don't know. But
I can't imagine if you're even.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine not playing. So
no, not a national championship.
I'm just saying, if you're anywhere close, I would think you would give it a go. Yeah. You may not be able to play the whole game, or maybe just the first quarter, but I would think you would at least give it a go.
Yeah, that's where I would go with it. Yeah.
In the national championship game. I mean, that's just. I mean, come on. All right, so we're going to move on from that. This is going to kind of coincide with that a little bit. So Quinn Ewers declared for the draft since we've been on, and Carson Beck, Georgia's quarterback, has transferred to Miami. So you can take your pick. You can talk about both, but I just wanted to get your thoughts and your opinions. Quinn Ewers declared this morning, today. Carson Beck was about 4, 5, 6 days ago now, transferring to Miami.
Well, you look at Ewers' time at Texas. You know, he led the program to the playoff semifinals in 2 years. He fell short of the championship game. He had what he's going to be known for, Brad, and I hate this. He's going to be known for the strip sack loss against Ohio State, and I don't think that's really fair to him. You know, he grew up in Dallas, was a top-rated high school prospect. People don't know this, but he signed up with Ohio State before he was at Texas.
He played
on Ohio.
He was actually the guy who got the strip sack and the scoop and score. Jack Sawyer was his roommate their freshman year at Ohio State.
He was. Congrats to Quinn Ewers. You know, I'm not going to say what I think I should say.
Listen,
because I don't.
Here's what I want to say about Quinn Ewers. I think he maximized his potential. I think this is a good move by him. I think he is probably going to be a second or third rounder. But I think if he comes back anywhere, he's probably not going to come back to Texas. He seems like a Texas guy. I think this is the right move for him. I think if he comes back, he may drop even more. I mean, I feel like he's maximized his talent. I think he's probably a second or third rounder, and I think it's a good move. On the flip side of this, you got Carson Beck, who has, instead of declaring, has chosen to come back and transfer to Miami. Now, we'll get into another part of this in just a second on maybe the reason why, or a part of a reason why. But to go with the Quinn Ewers thing here that I was just talking about, I kind of feel like Carson Beck might be risking and coming back. Like, he was a projected first rounder. Now, he didn't play quite like it this year, so he may have dropped down to a second or third rounder. But him coming back, do you think he's going to increase his stock again? Or is it really hard once you've gotten there and fallen? That's my question.
Well, let's look at this from another angle with Carson Beck. You know, I wanted to say I skipped out on what I was wanting to say about Quinn Ewers, but what I was wanting to say about Quinn was I think he's right in the middle of a third round, fourth round pick. There's some things that I'm questioning about his ability at the next level. There's some things that I think he does well, and then there's some things I think he don't do well. But that's a different talk for a different day. But to go on to your Carson Beck thing, you know, you look at it from a couple of different instances, Brad. You know, you had Bo Nix that went from Auburn to Oregon, from Oregon to Denver, and look what Bo Nix did in his rookie season.
Bo Nix definitely increased his value and experience and played better for sure. 100%.
Well, and you go from there. You know, there was another one in Jaden Daniels. He come from Arizona State, and a lot of people did not think Jaden Daniels was that great of a quarterback. And he goes to LSU, and he has the unbelievable season. What was it, last year?
I'm going to get to that, Jonathan. Just wait a second.
And Jaden Daniels is having probably one of the best NFL seasons that we've ever seen for the Commanders.
He is.
And I say that to say that, yes, it can improve your stock coming back. I think, a lot of people use the portal to fix that. Beck's stepping into a tough situation too. He's replacing Cam Ward, a really good quarterback. That's probably going to do a similar path
10-2
to
season. Like he's stepping into a situation. They're going to expect college football playoffs. I mean, that's what they're going to expect.
I think he's going to profit a lot more, Brad, with the NIL deals.
There's two reasons why this happened. He signed the most NIL deal in the history. I saw $4.4 million.
Well, Brad, to be fair,
that's part of it. And then he's dating one of the twin basketball players, Hannah from Miami, and let's be honest, she is a very good-looking, gorgeous girl. And he is a young man in college, and I don't blame the kid. If I was dating her, I'd want to be around her more myself. I'm just saying. Yeah, they're both young, and I don't blame him. I don't blame her or him for that.
I think, and two, nowadays you can come back to school and get paid more in school than you could the NFL. Maybe if you
$4.4 million is what I'm
because
hearing.
you want to be a day one pick, but sometimes you come back to school and you can fix that and get maybe in the top 30.
Okay, Wireman, I'm not putting that up on my screen, so
I'm not either. Yeah, I'm not putting that up there.
I'm trying to be mostly respectful here. So
yeah,
I do cover women's sports, and I expect everybody to
to be
respectful.
That's stupid, to be honest.
I'm just saying.
I'm not even why he posted that. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of pissed me off, really. But
well, he's in the media too, so I mean, come on now. Just saying. I'm trying to be halfway respectful here. I mean, she's a good-looking girl. I'm not going to lie, she really is. And he's a young man, and they're dating, and I there's nothing wrong with that. However, what I want to say is there's 4.4 million reasons why as well in an NIL package that he got to go there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, money talks. And from what I'm hearing, that's the highest NIL package ever so far, from what I'm hearing.
I just don't understand why he would post that. That's just something.
I'm not good.
That's something you just don't say, man.
All right. I'm going to move on from that because, I mean, I did want to touch on it because I think that is part of the reason. But, I mean, I'm going to move on from it. Today was also the 2025 College Football Hall of Fame class was announced. There's some pretty notable names on the Hall of Fame class here, John. You got Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Michael Vick, Michael Strahan. I mean, there's some pretty notable names for football alone, college football. Michael Vick in college at Virginia Tech was phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Man.
Some legends, and a lot of people don't know. Michael Vick's the new head coach at Norfolk State, coaching the football team. Unbelievable list. Nick Saban's up there with the all-time greats. Strahan's one of the top defensive ends in the league.
Defensive ends, yeah.
Tough, played for the Giants.
Look at here. We got a Jason Harrison sighting on the show. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, man.
Hey, I can't hear him.
No, I can't hear you yet.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Now I got you.
I am like, I can't hear him. I hear them. Had it on mute.
There you go. I got you now. What's up, Jason Harrison?
Hey, man, hey, everything,
Are you still coaching AAU ball?
I don't know. It's got a couple things in the works. I don't know if I will be able to. So who knows? So, there's a lot of things going on. So I might not. I don't know yet.
All right. I just wondered. We hadn't had you on for a little while, so.
Well, man, listen. You changed the date on the
I know.
Me.
Well, through the Christmas season, it's just tough, to be honest with you.
I get it.
With everything that's going on in the holidays and stuff. So
yeah, I get it. It's all good.
Then Kentucky plays on Tuesday nights a lot now, and we're like, me and John's like, crap. We want to watch the game, and there's a lot that goes into it, really. So,
I really wish I were my tablet.
Yeah, but. Okay. We're talking about the College Football Hall of Fame class that was put out today. You got Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Michael Vick, Michael Strahan, some notable names there for the 2025 College Football College Football Hall of Fame.
Is that Urban Meyers?
Yeah, it's Urban Meyers. Yeah.
Urban Meyer. Say, hey man, those are all pillars. Saban especially. That was a no-brainer. Urban Meyer.
Who doesn't put Nick Saban in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah. Urban Meyer had a great questionable run with the players of past. Ohio State came, then Michael Vick and Strahan. So good group of guys.
It is a good group of guys. We got some people here just putting up some comments here, guys, for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Saban, greatest coach ever. I think Urban Meyer was pretty good. Let's be honest. If Urban could have lasted like Saban did for 17, 20 years or whatever, if Urban could have done that, who knows? Yeah. Maybe Urban is up there with Nick Saban. To be honest,
no doubt. Both coaches tried. Their hand in the NFL, but those guys were godsends in college football, so that was something good, John, what's up, man? What's going on,
what's up,
man?
Bro?
Man, look here, man. Just like the old people say, just trying to keep this thing in a row, man. Just trying to keep this thing in a row.
How about them Ole Miss Rebels, bro?
Well, how about them Ole Miss Rebels?
Hey, we'll talk about basketball in a minute. We'll hit on the Ole Miss because they played good last night. They really did.
And then we got to talk about John Calipari because I'm loving it.
We did. We're definitely going to talk about Calipari. That's towards the end. Is my plan here. All right. So one other thing that I want to talk about before we move off from football, there's a coach's proposal today for a 10-day transfer portal window only in January after January 1st bowl games. And they would eliminate the spring window for football. I think this is from college coaches that have put this proposal together. It is not a law yet, but I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about this new proposal by the coaches?
I'll let you go first, Jason.
Okay.
They're trying to eliminate like all these people opting out and transferring before bowl games, before the college football playoffs. They're trying to eliminate that is what they're trying to do.
I guess
real quick, Jason. The problem you're going to have, though, is Jason kind of bounce off here, is you're going to have, even if you do that, you're probably going to still have guys sit out. It's not really going to I don't really think it's going to change
Well,
anything.
sitting out is a little different than transferring.
Yes, but I don't know.
I
This is
think
a
that,
test.
and it's funny, man. I've had this discussion with other people, and I think Cam Newton played a part on this, right? And he said something of the cause, with it's not student athlete anymore. So you can just take that mantra out. It's no longer
Not really,
student
no.
athlete. It's not student athlete. You're getting paid now, right? So you're
Yeah.
employed. So we need to put clauses in the contracts, right? If we pay you, you have to forfeit some of that money. And you will have less people transferring, in my opinion, because now you can leave without any cause. And like I know, you got to give a 2-week notice on a job. You got to give a 2-week notice. Think about it. Or you have to give a notice that you're about to leave since you're an employee, right? So there need to be clauses within these NILs or these scholarships or whatever they're signing now. Because if I'm not mistaken, they're just trying to make sure that the big dogs.
Coaches are having a real hard issue with all this because you get through the season, and the reason why the coaches are the ones putting this together is you get through the season, and now you're trying to prepare for bowl games. You're trying to prepare for the college football playoffs. And not only are you having to worry about recruiting in high school, now you're having to go through your entire team and every player and be like, are you still with us? Are you still here? Are you leaving? It is absolute chaos on these coaches.
Hey. What about the kids who's been, affected by coaches? When coaches play well and, they get that other job, then they leave. Then it's up to the kids to decide, right? So if you're going to put a mandate on kids for a 10-day window, you need to put it on the coaches as well. You got to put it on the coaches as well. You got to have something in there for the coaches because look what happened to Marshall.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say that I'm against that.
Yeah. So I think it's like, it's hard. It is very hard right now to be a college coach on either side of the spectrum. It's very hard.
And it really is. I have to say that for sure it is. But I just wanted to kind of touch on that real quick. The last thing I want to touch on for college is this. What? Is Deion leaving Colorado for the NFL?
If I open up my phone, the thread has been going on all day. I don't know about Deion. Now, this is what they say. I think you guys agree.
I'm going to go on record and say he stays at Colorado.
If he were to leave, he would be the only one that could deal with Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones would understand, you know what, let me let Deion be Deion.
I just don't think their leading skills are
I'm going to say this because this involves my Cowboys.
Oh.
And I just want to say this. I think this would be a great fit. And I say that because Cowboys need a culture fit, Jason, in the worst way. They need a culture change. You look at Colorado, they were a complete dumpster fire. I think there was 4 years or 5 years there where they just had a horrible record. It was under 500. I think they went 1-11 one year. That's the on-field success. Deion's more than that. He revitalized all this. Everybody can dislike.
The truth is, Deion's not going anywhere if he can't get Shedeur.
No, I'm not saying that. Sons. I'm just saying from a culture thing, Dallas needs a change.
But you do know that Dallas is not a desired destination.
It's not. Troy Aikman said it's not. It used to be one of the most coveted coaching jobs in America. But here's the question you got: Who wants to put up with Jerry Jones?
Exactly. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know they have liked each other and worked in the past as player, but I'm going to tell you right now, Deion's bravado as a coach and Jerry Jones are not going to match.
I'm
They're not going to mix. I don't think they will.
I think it would. I think it would because
I don't think it will. I think it's going to be a disaster.
When was the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl? Who was on that team?
That's what I'm going to say next.
Deion Sanders.
So if I'm going to listen to anybody, if I'm an owner and I'm going to listen to anybody.
Yeah, but Jerry's not like that. Jerry's not listening to nobody. He kicked out Jimmy Johnson. He kicked out Barry Switzer.
Okay. Points.
If you want to go even that far, Chan Gailey, Dave Campo.
He kicked out Bill Parcells. I mean,
counterpoint. None of those guys were Deion Sanders.
They were all Super Bowl winning coaches.
Well, and then you add in Wade Phillips, Bum Phillips' son.
Yeah.
None of them have they don't. Deion has the biggest personality in the room.
That's why I say it will clash.
No, I don't think it will because Deion is going to speak how Deion speak because guess what? Jerry, I don't need you.
Well,
that's the biggest thing. Jerry, I don't need you. Listen, if I'm Deion, I'm considering it because guess what? Dak Prescott is on his last year of his contract. I can get Shador in here, right? If Deion takes the job, Shador will be there. Both his sons will be there. Guaranteed. But I think he's going to leave? I don't think he's going to leave.
I think he's going to stay. I'm going to be on
as of 5 hours ago. As of 5 hours ago on the betting odds, he's favored to be the Dallas coach.
If he would leave,
I may be wrong. I'm not going to say. I'm just telling you. I think he's going to stay.
I'm going to say this before we move on. If he does leave Boulder to go to Dallas, woo boy.
Yeah, they're going to be back to the bottom tiers where they're going to be more than likely.
I mean, hey,
you don't know that, Brad, because Sanders brings a lot of swag. He brings a lot of, apparel. He brings a lot of excitement. That's what Dallas needs. They're dead right now, and a guy like Deion.
Jerry has been Jerry. He's not been willing to give up control. He has kicked everybody out that tried to run things their own way. I mean, I'm telling y'all, it's just it'll work in the beginning. It'll be sexy at first, and everybody's going to think everything's good. But then Deion's going to start his control of the team and the control of the press conferences and control of how things are going on the field. And there's going to be some clashing going on. And at first it'll look great, but I'm telling you, it will clash and it won't turn out good. I
just think the different, Brad. I just think the different. I just think, watch this. I think if Deion, and I'm with you, Brad, I'm saying Deion's not leaving. I'm with you. But if he did, everybody in that locker room would automatically respect him, without a doubt, from your top player to your bottom player, because he did it. He's coached. Now he's moved up the ladder. Every NFL player, like they say, basketball players, well, if you're not playing it, you want to coach it. And you seeing he's coached from the Pee-wee to high school to college and now pro. He has the blueprint. He has the social media game on lock. He has all the endorsement. Like, you want to be down with Deion if you really want that. I think Jerry, for the first time,
and
would take
for the first time in a long time.
Jerry's, that's exactly what he's going to have to do.
He would get out the way.
That's exactly John Hammonds. If this is going to work, that's exactly what will have to happen. Jerry Jones will have to get the hell out of the way.
No doubt. No doubt.
period.
No doubt, without a doubt.
And I will say this, Jason,
Yeah.
with Deion at Dallas, they'll be the talk of talk shows, ESPN.
If
It'll
it
be
does work, Jason hit the nail on the head right there. Jerry Jones will have to get the hell out of the way.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Me too. Me too.
That's the only way it'll work, So, hey.
Me too. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to finish it on that right there.
Yeah.
All right. Women's basketball. Guys, unbelievably, the 43rd year of March Madness, women are finally going to get money, just like the men do, for wins in March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
They approved this today. Is that not insane that they've had a March Madness tournament for 42 years and women get no money from it?
Man, that right there, you know what? I'm going to say this.
That's insane.
You guys are going to agree. It's the Caitlin Clark effect.
It is.
Like
18.7 million viewers last year, had 3 million more viewers than UConn when they won. By the way.
I'll say this. Yeah, give me that. I've never watched I've never watched women's WNBA. No, the other one. I've never watched it that much until this past year. And I got a NBA game on right now, and this is how I watch the NBA game. I'm always doing something else. But when I'm watching the WNBA, I'm watching the WNBA. I'm watching the WNBA in its entirety because Caitlin Clark was on.
Yep.
And I wanted to see what was going on.
I watched some of it this year too, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's been a while since I had watched the WNBA, to be quite honest, before this year, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese a little bit. I watched a little bit of her.
Yeah. You had a rival that really wasn't a rival to the ladies.
I'm not gonna lie.
The viewers.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. Me covering women's basketball here and doing what I've done for the last 2 years, this is really good to see. I mean, this is for the conferences and stuff as well. So I saw today where the 4 teams that get into the Final Four will get like $1.3 million for their conference and stuff this year. I mean, that's big. That's big for these women to be able to provide for their conference and for their teams and everything. I mean, it's huge. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Charlie Baker and the NCAA for finally approving this today. It was a unanimous vote, John. Unanimous.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of people don't realize right now that the women's game is at a peak that it's ever been.
Yep.
You look at Caitlin Clark, you look at Juju
Watkins, Paige Beckers. Hannah Hidalgo.
Georgia Amore.
Georgia Amore, Lauren Betts. I mean, you can go down. I mean, it's across the country.
It's at a level that it's in a good spot right now. The men's side is in a good spot.
Yeah.
But if you've not watched women basketball, I know a lot of people think, well, it's the women, it's boring. It's, it's really not. If you take time to sit down and actually watch it, you'll see the game. I feel like the game is more smooth in women's basketball than the men.
I don't think
there's a little old school feel to women's basketball right now. I think there's a little nostalgia a little bit for me watching women's basketball.
There's not as many fouls either, like in the games.
I'm definitely gonna get to that one in just a second.
Skill wise, they have to be very skilled to play the game. Very skilled. They require a lot of skill and precision because you got to screen, you got to move. Like everybody's on point in the better teams, everybody are on point.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we're going to move on. Just wanted to touch on that. Now, this is a big one that I want to get to. John kind of alluded this a second ago. Guys, and I need your opinion. I feel like, I'm going to be honest with you, this wasn't a Kentucky game. This was another SEC game over the weekend, and John can tell you which game it was, but there was like 88 free throws in a game the other day. And these games are taking 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2 hours and 45 minutes. There are stoppages. They are as physical of basketball as I have ever seen. Last night, Lamont Butler was on the floor more than the players on the bench were sitting in chairs. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there are stoppages, there are fights, there are stoppages for technicals, there are reviews. I mean, I feel like I'm watching, and Jason, maybe you can remember some of this, but I swear to you, I feel like I'm watching 80s NBA basketball.
And the college game is more physical than the NBA game.
1,000%.
Until the NBA gets into the playoffs. Until the NBA gets into the playoffs. What I've seen, and you got to think about this: the college game is a lot better than the NBA game right now.
It's 1,000% better than the NBA game.
The one game that showed me, hold on.
Texas A&M and Bama is what Clyde says. There was 88 free throws in one game.
The one game that I seen from its entirety that got me watching college basketball again, it was Florida against Kentucky. And I've never seen that much shooting in
Vin Hardy's on with us. What's up, Vin?
That one game, man, that was probably I was calling everybody like, man, this is the
Georgia-Kentucky game? I mean, it was insane.
No, the Florida-Kentucky game.
Okay.
When they played that game, that game, man, Kentucky shot the piss out the ball.
Yeah, they did.
Florida, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, yes, the game is back.
I want to kind of comment on this because this is one I wanted to bring up.
Jason, do you remember watching 80s NBA basketball? Because I'm telling you, it was as physical. There were stoppages, there were fights, there were technicals. I mean, it was as physical a basketball. I feel like right now, watching these games, that some of these kids need to be in pads. Like, seriously, they need to put on some pads with what's going on in the game. That's how physical it is. Well, and the refs are not managing these games like they need to.
Man, these games do remind me of Knicks versus Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Pistons versus Chicago.
The Pistons. Yeah.
The Lakers versus the 76ers. The Lakers versus
76ers. You're right. Moses Malone and that bunch. Yeah.
Yes. You know, I could see Xavier McDaniel out here. Charles Oakley's.
Charles Oakley's. Yeah.
You know, the bruisers.
I feel like that's what I'm watching.
Yeah, that's what you're watching. That's what you're watching. So it's I love it. You know, but I hate the fouls because, like you just said, the games take too long.
Forever.
Well, here's my biggest issue. You know, you got a game like with 2 minutes to go. It's the second half, 2 minutes to go. You get a play that somebody knocks the ball out of bounds. Well, they go with the monitor. Well, the next trip down, somebody touches the ball or there's a physical foul. We got to look and see if there's a flagrant. Then you go back down the other end, Jason, and somebody knocks the ball out, and they have to go through 3 different camera angles before they can figure out what. If you make the call on the floor, should it be, Jason, that's the call that you need to make? Like,
Well,
why are we going?
I mean,
Why are
I'm
we
not
going-
against the under 2 minute thing.
You
because I
know
do
why?
want
You know
to
why?
get it right?
You know why?
Yeah,
But all
but why would we go back and forth to the under 5 and 6, 7 different times just to try to get a different result each time?
you want me to give you your honest answer?
Jason played, so I mean,
no. There are billions and billions of dollars being bet on each game, and they want to make sure they get it right.
Yeah. Okay, but
and we have all this fancy technology now.
But there was a play last night, Jason, and I want you to explain this to me, okay? Because this bothered me last night in the Kentucky game. Butler slipped, got bumped and slipped and fell on his shoulder on a play, all right? And he also wound up getting kicked in the face on this play, and he laid there for a few minutes, okay? He was injured and he was hurt. The trainers had to come out. They looked at him, everything else, and they waited. Here's my issue. The entire time that Butler was laying on the floor and the trainers were out there and looking at him, they did nothing. They just sat there and waited for Butler and everything to get up and everything. And then after he finally got up, then they went to the darn monitor to look to see if the kick was a flagrant foul, the kick in the face. Please explain to me why the hell you didn't go to the monitor while Butler was laying on the floor?
The main thing was they've been told not to stop the play, right? Let the play go on, and at its earliest stoppage point, because you don't want to stop a fast break, you don't want to stop this, you don't want to stop that. Referees are, referees are really police officers with whistles, right? So they have to police everything. And then you got to go back and see if everything's a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. The game is very, very soft. Let's just say it, but it's very, very physical now. And so now, you're in an uproar because now they are professional players now. So you have to take care of professional players. And before college started paying legally, you never had these issues. So it's the money that's involved in the games now.
I just don't understand waiting 4 or 5 minutes for Butler to get up and then taking 3 minutes, 4 minutes to go to the monitor. Like that one play, Jason, probably stopped the game for 10 minutes.
Yeah. True.
I mean, it's just, it's insane. I don't know. I just don't get it. John, do you remember the play I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Here's the thing, like, they got to hold some of these refs accountable, Jason. Like, there's no accountability. The refs shouldn't have the games in their hands. You get a bad call one after the other, it throws you off. I can't remember a year where so many games have been decided by a bad call. Like, you look at the Florida-Missouri game last night. There was a call, I don't know if Brad's seen it. Caleb Grills shot a 3, and it looked as if his foot was on the line. Well, the refs never even went to the monitor to review it.
Yeah.
And
there was a flagrant foul called in the LSU-Arkansas game towards the end.
That was absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, it's reached a level of that they're getting bad in all sports, not just college basketball. It boils down to youth level, high school.
It kind of surprises me because I never thought I would watch basketball again and think I was watching 80s basketball, because 80s basketball, they literally would knock your teeth out.
Well, Brad brought up a good point the other day. I thought it was pretty funny. He said that the refs had to go to the monitor for official review before the Kentucky team could check out their hotel in Georgia. I thought that was pretty good.
It's getting that bad.
I thought it was pretty good, man.
I mean, it really is getting that bad. I'm not playing.
And you know who calls these referees out more than anybody? Jay Billis. He calls it out quite a bit.
I'm telling you, the flow that comes with this, like I said, in that play last night with Butler, it literally stopped the game for 8 to 10 minutes for one play.
I'm going to say this, and we can move on, Brad, because we got to talk about other things. But no game should be 3.5 hours long.
Nope.
It just there's just
not even 2.5 unless it's in overtime. Unless it's an overtime game.
Yeah, and if it's a good game, refs have not been out of control. There's been flow to it, and it's just been a fast-paced game, and there's been some stoppages for timeouts stuff. I can deal with that. But just to stop there was a game, what was it? The Georgia game. I think, Brad, I told you today, wasn't it 85 free throws Georgia had shot in the last 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane.
Something of that number. And to me, that's just too much.
You're muted again, Jason.
I think watching a game like that is like watching grass grow. If you just walking up and down,
it's terrible.
You have no flow. Everything you guys see. Everything you said, man, it's
terrible. It really is.
But you gotta get a hold of it because, man, listen, I keep saying it, man. It's too much money involved, Brad. The same thing you didn't want to happen. It's happening.
Oh, I know. It's happened for sure, 100%. All right, so let's get to the Tuesday night games. Jason, your alma mater went to Bama, pulled out an absolute stunner, to be quite honest with you.
Put him in the headlock.
I mean, 74-64 at Alabama. First of all, the win's great and everything else, but seriously, holding this Bama team to 64 points is something. At home?
Man, what's the coach? He came from Texas Tech. I know him. Chris Beard, the one who stayed, he's on the staff now. I can't think of his name. Defensive guru. Like I'm gonna say it after probably when we get off. When he came back to Ole Miss, because this same Wes Flanagan, Chris Beard, man, what's the coach name? He was at Texas Tech and was winning, but then they let him go after the year. I can't. I'm looking at him. I can't say his name. But those guys,
is he on the staff?
He on the staff. Yeah, he's on the staff. Mark something. What's Mark last name? He just got there this year because he left. I think he got let go. Now he's on the staff. They did a phenomenal job at ULR that 1 year.
Oh, I know you're talking about. You're talking about Mark Adams.
Coach Adams. Yeah, I knew his first name. Coach Adams. Yeah. Man, listen, a guru defensively, and he was on display. You see what I'm saying? Ole Miss is not the most athletic team, but, man, the tougher team normally wins. Defense travels. That's the key. Defense
the 23-19 last night was pretty impressive, let's be honest.
Man, listen, I'm talking about, I was thoroughly impressed. Like, that's the way we used to play defense back in the day. That's the way
Malik Diaz playing really, really good. I think he had 18 rebounds.
No, he had 23. He had 23 and 19. That's what I was talking about.
Like he said,
played really good.
He's been phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? A guy coming from Belmont. I'm screaming at the TV. I'm gonna tell you the ball.
Yeah. What impressed me about Ole Miss more than anything last night was they forced 21 Alabama turnovers. And a lot of people don't know this, that they also broke a 53-game streak of Alabama scoring more than 70 points.
That's what I'm saying. To hold them for 64 points at home,
I mean,
is insane. To be quite
they
honest,
stonewalled that offense, and this proves that Ole Miss can win big games.
hey, Chris Beard, listen, I said it. Jason will tell you. I said it when they hired Chris Beard. I like the hire. I like Chris Beard. He's a good coach, and he's going to get Ole Miss turned around. Did I not say that, Jason?
I'm going to say that.
Yep.
Ole Miss is playing for, a top seed in March, like a top 4 seed.
They are.
Now listen, I don't know the rest of the schedule, right? And I just know it's the first 4 games because
I do know they play Mississippi State Saturday.
That's gonna be a ride. Where they playing at the Hump or in the Tag?
It's at the Hump, yeah. No,
at the Hump, right? It's in Oxford.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Jason.
It's rough,
Any schedule in the SEC,
man. The SEC is just brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's brutal. Man. You look at Texas, who just came in here. Man, you look. Watch it. Arkansas had a rough go at it.
It's in Starkville Saturday.
It's in Starkville. Arkansas had a rough go, and then was supposed to get the game last night.
I know. And couldn't get that one. Yeah,
man, they couldn't listen and had it and gave it away. I was up to almost 11 o'clock watching basketball.
You played in the SEC. I got a stat for you. Last night was the first time ever in the history of the SEC that they had 2 top 5 teams lose at home.
Florida and Alabama, yeah.
In Alabama.
Right.
So first time ever that 2 top 5 teams, SEC teams, lost at home.
Yeah, that was my first time watching Missouri play last night. I had my TV. I'm watching high school basketball and college basketball yesterday, all day. That was the first time that I seen Missouri's not bad. Like, they really brought it to Florida. And I'm thinking Florida was one of those teams that I said could probably win it all. And I got to give some love to my former teammate, Michael White, at Georgia. Like you said, man, hey, Georgia's looking good.
They are looking good.
Yeah, Georgia.
There's a bunch of teams in the SEC looking good. Let's be honest.
It's about 10 teams that you really don't want to see.
Yeah. I mean, there is a ton of them, to be quite honest with you. That's looking really good.
Man,
Missouri's looking pretty darn good right now. I mean, let's be honest. There is a ton of teams that's looking pretty good in the SEC right now.
We're hitting the last hour, Brad.
Yeah. Duke's playing good ball right now as well. You got to give them a shout out here. I think they're playing as good as anybody. John, you want to give us a little recap or not a recap, but a little scoreboard for tonight? The games that are being played tonight.
I'll get that. Hold on just a second. I'm loading it up. In the top 25, Tennessee is up by 22 on Georgia at home. It's about over. Actually, it is over. Washington's up on Purdue 18-12, early first.
They beat Georgia 22?
Yeah, I think it was by 18, I think.
Okay.
Iowa State beat Kansas 74-57. Michigan State continues to roll. They're 15-2, 90-85 over Penn State.
Good for Tom Izzo, to be quite honest with you. I've always liked Tom Izzo. I feel like the last couple of 2 or 3 years, he's had a little bit of struggle with his NIL and transfer portal stuff.
They're 6-0 in the Big Ten.
And it's good to see him bounce back. I just want to put that out there.
Let's see. Cincinnati is leading Colorado by 6, I think, second half. Utah is ahead of TCU by 8 with a minute to go. Pittsburgh trails Florida State at halftime, 28-23. of note. Bradley wins again. They're 15-3. They're 6-1 in the MVC in the Missouri Valley. Drake is really, really good. Let's see here. Vanderbilt beat South Carolina 66-63.
Yeah,
that was a tough
one.
break. That was a tough break for South Carolina. They've had a tough season. Wake beat Stanford 80-67. And North Carolina beat California 79-53. Dayton lost again.
It's good to see Tom Izzo back getting the team playing well.
Dayton lost again, which probably knocks them out of the chance to get a bid. They lost to George Mason tonight. Butler beat Seton Hall by 5, 82-77. Trying to see. And pretty much that's it. The others are just like, Southern game, like mid-majors.
Right.
Not a real big slate tonight,
on the women's side, for tonight's scoreboard, on the women's side, UConn beat St. John 71-45. These are top 25 scores. West Virginia beat Colorado 73-46. Michigan State, who is ranked on the women's side as well, beat Rutgers 70-60. And then USC's game was postponed tonight for the wildfires out there. UCLA is playing. They are leading Penn State 31-27. UCLA is number 1 in women's basketball. So that's the scoreboard for the women's.
Tennessee, what I was saying, they went ballistic second half. Georgia was playing really, really well. They was attacking the goal, and Tennessee just shot. It was just unreal. I mean, I was sitting here listening to it, and it was just it was making plays.
Look. Did you see him laugh when I put that up on the screen? Okay.
Hey, listen.
I want to say this.
I got to get Jason in on this while he's here. I got to get him in.
Yeah, because I got to go after this. I only stayed until this came up.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm going to let y'all go, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Because
I got to get Jason in on this one because Jason's from Arkansas. He lives in Arkansas. He is from Arkansas. He has friends that played. I mean, Todd Day. I mean, he's got friends that played for Arkansas. So, I mean, I got to give him a little bit of floor on this one. However, and I listen, I know John wants to say some stuff too, but for me, I want to start this off, guys.
Go ahead.
With this. Should we be worried about John Calipari's health? I want to ask that as a real question because in the press conference the other night, he literally acted like, as the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, that he did not know who they played the next game.
Oh, he did that at UK.
He also acted as if that he didn't know if it was home or away.
But Brad, he did that last year.
That's some real concerns here, if you ask me.
Here's what I'm thinking. You had Tyson Money, Arkansas boosters. They thought, they brought up a Brink truck to lure Calipari from Kentucky. A fresh start appeared to be a win-win, for both sides. You had Calipari going to Arkansas.
I just want to thank John Tyson. That's all I want to say.
You had Mark Pope going to
I'm sorry, I had to.
Kentucky. It was good until it wasn't, Brad. For a decade, he done a lot of good things. There was a lot of one and done talent. He won some SEC titles. He won a national championship in 2012.
That's who his assistants are and stuff, Clyde. I agree with you.
Calipari teams have always been long, athletic, went after the three-point shooters, nothing easy at the rim. Now, I will say this, Jason, this Arkansas team is a little bit better defensively than some of those teams. but they commit way. I watched the LSU game last night. They commit way too many fouls, man. Too many second chance points, and it don't make up for their woes, their shooting woes. How are they going to respond, Brad? You can't respond any worse than the LSU loss.
Listen, I thought they was going to respond
Energy.
last night, John. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought they were going to respond last night, and it didn't happen. I mean, let's be honest. Damian Collins went to show out last night, and there's a reason why. I mean, let's be honest. Damian Collins, really showed out last night. Jason, don't you think so? And there's a reason why, right?
Man, listen, like I know, he didn't play much for Calipari. I'm going to tell you, coaching AAU ball, right, during that COVID year, the year before he played with Blake Griffin, you talking about college, right? And I really didn't know who he was until we played against him. And I've never seen a young man rangy and long and jump so quick, because when he dunked the first time, I was like, oh, he took out from that far? And I'm watching it. And it was a play last night. He ran down the middle of the floor, and he dunked so hard that he probably saw Coach Cal's face on the backboard and tried to break the backboard last night, right?
Yeah.
He had a lot on his mind, but this is what I have a loaded answer, and here it goes. I love to hire Calipari because he really solidified the state. Meaning, I was saying that Arkansas basketball, everybody thinks they're an SEC player. They want to go to Arkansas. Well, Calipari comes, he's going to only recruit the top players in the state, and everybody else is going to realize, well, I'm not as good as I think. Well, Calipari got a player that we had. Zay ended up going up there. He's going to be out of Springdale, big guard. Y'all look him up. That's who he really needs right now. He needs a big playmaker. All right, Xavier Seeley. He's a 6'7" point guard, but he's going to be able to play the three. He's going to be the one that's want to give the ball. He has too many people that want to score. He has a bad mix right now.
This here is a whole lot of it. The game has changed.
Yeah, really, this I say, Theo is really a football player playing basketball.
Yeah,
in my opinion, he looks like a football player, but he really doesn't have a lot of skill. Then you got your guard.
Well, he's got skill. He's got talent. He just don't have a lot of basketball skill.
Here's something that me and Brad talked about today that Brad just could not. He was bumfounded on it. I'm going to read the comment. It said, this is what Calipari said. I think part of it is if someone doesn't play well, they can't get out of their own way. But you don't have to play great. You don't even have to play good. Just defend, dive on the floor, be a great teammate, chest bump, get everybody going.
What is he talking about? You don't have to play great. You don't even have to play good. What is he talking about?
He think about it. He has nobody, and you'll know it. Nobody on that team plays with passion. They're all out there just playing basketball. You got to have somebody who is a dog. Who is the dog on Arkansas?
Jason, Josh wants to know, is Cal one and done at Arkansas?
No. They're not going to.
Here's the problem, Jason. You got too many egos that want to, you got a boogie plan. The problem with Cal teams in the past is he's had too many egotistical guys that want to take over a game. They want to play one-on-one AAU ball. And you're seeing a difference.
But there are so many issues now. I think he's got players playing out of position. I don't think he's taking advantage of their skill set in the way that he needs to.
They're just running and gunning and hoping for the best, throwing the ball out. Here's the thing that I've noticed, Brad.
Big Z is one of them. Clearly, the guy's got talent. Could be from the 3-point line and got talent.
But I think his trust level is low. His trust level is low. He's only playing about 7 to 8 players. I don't think he's pressing enough. I don't think he's using it to the advantage. Like I said, they're really small. Think about it. They go Boogie and they go Wagner. Wagner has improved, but Wagner doesn't have the decision making need. And
Clyde,
transfer from Florida Atlantic, they thought that he was going to be a gem, and he's not. He really is not a good fit for Cal. He really just wants to score the ball too. They don't share the ball well. And the number one thing, what is Cal running on offense? He's not running anything. When they get the ball, he's coaching like this.
Jason, I've been asking that for 4 or 5 years.
Listen, you got to have some quick hitters. You got to have something, a go-to set, a la Pope.
Have you paid any attention to his out of bounds plays?
What are you doing? You just want to pop out and hand it off and play one-on-one. You want to play side pick and roll all the time.
Here's the problem.
Because he really had 0 out of bounds plays. 0.
Yeah, he does.
Here's a couple of things I want to say before we kind of lag out of here. The biggest thing for me, Brad and Jason, is, you expected to have a better team than what you're doing right now.
I didn't.
I really did.
I did. Because you bringing in freshmen. Think about it. You bringing in freshmen now. Look how good Duke is. Duke has underclassmen.
But that's what he does, Jason.
Freshmen. But no, that's what he used to do.
No, but that's what he's still going to try to do most of the time.
Well, he think he's going.
Fine, we get it.
Yeah, he think he's going
to on my nerves. He keeps repeating the same stuff.
He thought he was going to see. He's waiting till because he didn't get a real summer to recruit. He kind of took the job and went running. So now he's seeing, look, I got to get bigger wings. I got to get better shooting in, and he has that coming. Now the point guard who's coming in next year is a dog. The shooting guard that he got coming in next year is a dog. The 3-man he got coming is a dog. Now are
they better than the freshman class he had last year, though? I mean, come on.
Last year, talking about this past year that they're playing.
I'm talking about not this year. I'm talking about at Kentucky with Dillingham and Wagner and Justin Edwards and.
But you got to think Wagner was just a scorer. He just put up a bunch of shots. You got to have shooting.
The freshman class, I mean, Dillingham, Shepard, Wagner, Edwards. I mean, come on. That was a loaded
no. I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry. They're just as good. I'm sorry. They're just as good. I thought you meant this year's class. Last year, you got to think about it. Reed Shepard, first game in the G League, 49.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys could play basketball. Because
what did he really do with that talent last year is what I'm saying.
He underachieved. He underachieved because he didn't put them in position when the last 2-3 minutes of the game, you guys know this. I tell teams all the time, if you get me to the last 2-3 minutes of a game, I'm gonna win it for you. Because I'm gonna outcoach them. Cal can't do that.
Cal can't do that.
Panics.
I'm not mad, Clyde. You just keep repeating the same thing about Cal, and it's just the same thing over and over.
It's like, listen, it's like he panics. He does. To me,
he can't do that.
He needs.
Cal has to be ahead a little bit late in the game.
Cal needs a coach. He needs a coach.
My second part of this, me and Brad talked a little bit about this before we come on earlier today, is his moment at Kentucky on February 1st is going to be a in-your-face kind of experience.
Well, you got to
let me say what I want to say.
Go ahead.
He's going to come in to Rupp Arena. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know if they're going to boo him, if they're going to, say.
You can't boo him.
I know that, Jason, but it's not.
The media is going to be pretty rough on him, I'm afraid. That's what I think.
The media is rough on everybody, Brad.
I think the media is going to be rough.
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, Coach Pope has came in here and did something great, right? He's brought Kentucky basketball back. I can honestly say that. They look like Kentucky, what Kentucky used to always be, right? They look like that. But Pope he's been recruiting certain guys out here. Cal wasn't doing that. Cal was just going to get them blue chips. Hey, go out there and play. Show me what you got.
That's
He
what
has
he does.
offense. He has everything going for him. And this is what I say. You really can't, if I'm being honest, you can't boo a guy, even though this is going to boo, and writer's going to write, a guy who brought a national championship in, took you to Final Fours. Y'all just got better. It was time for Cal to move. That's all.
It was
just time for the move.
It was, and I agree with that. But
Yeah.
here's my question to you. Arkansas fans already seem to be pretty upset. 0-4 start. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. From what I've seen, the schedule doesn't look great the next 4 or 5 games. What happens? What happens, Jason, if they come to Lexington and they're 0-4 and they lose at Lexington and they're like 0-8?
Listen, hopefully, I mean, they're just 0-4. Like, what they're going to do is they're going to be like, look, give him a chance and wait. Because Calipari, he might not, he can get it wrong and then he can get it right. He's just wrong this year. This is his first year in the transfer portal. He went after guys who he thought could get it done. They're not going to.
I mean, John L. Davis was the number 1 transfer portal guy.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm going to let you in no secret. Don't tell nobody. I'm going to let you in no secret. Dave is trying to get into Michigan, right, with his former coach.
Yes.
And he's not there.
And he didn't qualify.
He's not there, period. That should have told you everything you needed to know right there.
He didn't qualify.
Here's my issue with.
Listen to what I'm saying, Brad.
Yeah.
He didn't go with his coach, period.
Yeah.
That should let everybody know right there. I'm giving you insider information.
Yeah.
And if you look at him right now, he dominated on a lower level. And then came and had a great team. But when you're asked to be the man, you just think you need to go score. Look at the kind of team Florida Atlantic had. They got the guy over at Florida. He was a scorer. So he had pressure off of him. Like, it's easy to be the man when everybody else is willing to let you be the man. But when you got to deal with a book, think about it, he was starting in Arkansas at first. Like this, look at this. He was starting because he got the money. Now he's coming off the bench. So how is the top recruit in the country coming off the bench now? He's starting to see, money
because he looks bad.
It's a reason why he was playing in a lower level conference.
Well,
Sometimes when you think you're a big dog, you're really not a big dog. The coaches put you in a position to succeed.
I agree with that.
Because if you was a big dog coming out, you would have already been.
He was a pretty good key or good cog in a Final Four team.
A team, when you're the focal point and you can't get it done, you're the number 1 transfer.
Yes.
And you're coming off the bench. That tells you everything.
I got you. I had to get Jason.
I just want to say one more thing before we move on. You know, the thing that worries me about Cal, and you know, you look around the message boards and Twitter and X, is Kentucky said some of the same things that Arkansas fans are saying right now. And what, 12, 11 months ago, Arkansas fans would have said, well, he's got a new chance. He's got a new era. He's going into a new situation. He's going to be rejuvenated. They're sitting at what, Brad? 11-5, 11-6, 0-4 in conference play, and no really quality wins except Michigan. And Kentucky's sitting there with, 6 quad 1 wins.
I mean, that's not the real issue. The real issue is you look at the schedule, the next 4 games, and your eyes really pop open and you're like, wow. I mean, they play this Missouri team that just went into Florida and won next. I mean,
watching Jeff Goodman troll Arkansas fans is one of the funniest things I've seen so far.
I think there's a real possibility that they could be 0-8 after they come to Lexington.
I think they'll get one. I think they'll muster out, especially if they got a home game. You know, the crowd will be back. The kids are back on campus. And, you know.
I'm not so sure, Jason. They might have to hand out. They might have to hand out chicken nuggets.
Who is their next home game? Who is their next home game?
Hang on. Let me get them pulled up here. I'll tell you their schedule. It's not great, I'm telling you.
But that's the SEC, man.
Their schedule.
They play Georgia at home next Wednesday.
They play their next game is Saturday at Missouri. They play Georgia at home next Wednesday. Then they play Oklahoma at home.
2 winnable games.
And then Kentucky.
2 winnable games.
Yeah.
I guarantee they go 1 for 1 at home. They're going to get one. That crowd will come out and give them that support.
Even if they win 2 and get beat by Kentucky, they're going to be 2-6.
Kentucky has 6 quad 1 wins. Louisville moved up in the rankings this morning.
You sometimes with this new era of basketball, either you're going to get it right or you're going to get it wrong. It ain't no in between. Because you can put a bad bunch together, and
more times than not, I'm not talking about just this year. You go back and look at the last 3 or 4 years, more times than not, Calipari's got it wrong. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, because he depended on freshmen. How many well, the whole team is transferred, but he got some veteran players. No one on Kentucky team played a lot of minutes last year other than.
Well, I mean, you had Reeves, and then for 2 years you had Oscar Sheboy. I mean, it's not like he didn't have some.
But it's not like he wasn't successful. The standard at Kentucky was Final Four, national championship. The standard at Arkansas is bring these guys in here. Let's get some NBA players, and let's start to build on something.
I'll just tell you this much. If things don't get any better, they'll have to donate chicken nuggets to get people to come back to the games.
Man, I'm going.
I've got to end it with this. His press conferences, and I'll be honest with you, I'm beginning to kind of worry about, like, is there something wrong? Like, I just don't understand.
You know what's wrong. Y'all know what's wrong. When you get that butt kick and you got to go in there and talk.
Yeah, but
he's not used to walking in there getting his tail kicked this many times this early. He's
true.
not used to that.
That's true.
You know that. You know that now, Brad.
I'll give you that. But still, he looks terrible. Some of the things he does. Some of the things he's been good. All right, Jason. Guys, we have been on for an hour and a half. We're going to end it up tonight. I appreciate Jason coming on, having a little fun with us, man.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. Everybody, it's College SportsCast, the Big Fuss Show. Hope you guys enjoyed this tonight, and y'all have a good night. We will see you on Friday night for our game day pick'em.
Have a good one.
Can I please have your attention? There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.